Hi friends, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just moving this like blue wire out of the way, just making it work. You're probably also going to be hearing my daughter in the background. It is snack time, so she's going to be grubbing, but that's not going to stop us from having our weekly Ask Me Anything. This is where I come on and answer questions that are popping into the feed live, as well as pre-asked questions. But since every week I come on and just like yap my head off, I'm going to start off by asking a question of you. I'm so interested to know, this is the question of the day. What is the temperature where you live? Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because it is February 2021, and in Southern California, it is like a ripe 70 plus degrees. I have zero complaints, but I want to know how hot or cold is it where you are. Okay, so every week we go live. If you have a question, pop it in. The team and I are here to support and empower you. So let's start off with this weekly topic of building. I am going to speak to this. The algorithm is an algorithm on any social platform. Sometimes the algorithms behave differently depending on the ranking of content. So on Facebook, the grande dame of content is going to be a live video. On Instagram right now, at the time of this recording, the grande dame, like the awesome thing that's going to like really move the needle for the algorithm, is going to be Reels. So depending on the platform that you want to build momentum on, I would focus on that. So I'm just going to assume, Rachel, that since you asked this question on Facebook, you probably want to know, how do I build momentum on Facebook after taking a break? Going live is going to be the best way to do this. Specifically, long form live video. So anything more than 20 minutes, please note that I only practice what I preach. I go live on Facebook at least once a week, and all of the videos are above 20 minutes. Why? I want to keep the audience warm. I want to keep my presence in the algorithm, and I want to give the algorithm content that people ultimately want to see. So another thing that I want to point out is the importance of showing up consistently on whatever platform it is that you want to use. So you could be posting to the feed. You could be sharing in stories. You can make sure that you're engaging followers on their posts. This is going to be the thing that is going to really move the needle when it comes to consistency. So I just want to make sure, I just got a note right now that the audio was coming out when I'm showing a slide, which is such a bummer. So I'm going to make sure that if we are having a little bit more issues, we'll get back to that. But when it also comes back down to reviving and getting momentum after a break, it's going to be focusing on giving the engagement that you want to receive. Now, oftentimes you're like, I want to build momentum. I'm going to create content. But the issue becomes, even if you create the most amazing and engaging content, what we're coming up against is the idea that people actually don't know that content exists. How do you get people to know your content exists? You go and you start conversations. You go and give what you want to get. You are liking other posts. You are leaving comments on other posts. You're giving great feedback in Facebook or LinkedIn groups. I actually joined a LinkedIn group this past week. Very interesting. I'm kind of testing the waters there. You know, LinkedIn is going to be a really great place to connect with other business professionals. And I was like, their groups function very much like Facebook groups. And I'm like, my dream customer is probably existing on that platform as well. So I want to make sure that I'm giving. Let's dive into a question around starting a business. Jessica says that she's trying to build her social media business on the side of her full-time job. And if I have any tips, what should she focus on the most? So this isn't just for people who want to start a social media marketing business. This is for anybody who has a side hustle and wants to take it to the next level. So more than anything, we want to make sure that we're meeting people where they are, but building a reputation. You want to build connection, and how you do this is by getting people to know you, like you, and trust you. And this sounds a heck of a lot easier than it actually is in real life. How do you get people to know you, like you, and trust you? Well, you're going to be focusing on a couple main things: content, and content. You know, I do think that I rub people the wrong way. I know that. I think it's the way that I speak. I think it's the way that I teach. I think it's normal. I don't think that one human is like perfect for everybody. I do know that even for people who have liked my Facebook fan page, or people who have become a follower on Instagram, or somebody who's subscribed on YouTube. I do know, yes, I do hear the baby screaming, and this is called mom brain. I am focusing in right in here. So I'm really going to be focusing on the people who have shown up and said, I want to go deeper with your account. For those people, I'm not going to be creating one piece of content and then just assume, oh, it's going to be great and everyone's going to love it. Heck no, it's so far from that. I am producing content to the best of my ability as often as I can. So I'm going to practice the advice that I give, and that is to show up as often as I can when I can. That means that I am posting on Facebook 5 or 6 times a week at minimum. I'm posting on Instagram 6 or 7 times a week. I am going live on Clubhouse 2 or 3 times a week. I am putting out a video on YouTube 1 or 2 times a week. The thing that we're really focusing on is putting out content and seeing how do people respond to it. So anybody who is having a business as a side hustle and wants to take it to the next level, we first definitely talked about building connection and reputation with content so people know you, like you, and trust you. And then what you need to do is identify and clearly communicate. Whatever your side hustle is, what do you want to be known for? Who is your ideal client? And what benefits do you provide? Who do you want to be known for? Who is your ideal client? And what benefits do you want to provide? This is for anybody who has a side hustle. Because I have to tell you, I have been and done that side hustle life. It's amazing. It's fun. It's nightmarish. It's overwhelming. It's exhilarating. But the thing you can say without a shadow of a doubt is that a side hustle, there's a ton of freedom in it. Because you know that your income and your livelihood is not dependent on it, then what I would say right now is double down on knowing who you're speaking to. Double down on knowing who do you want people to know you for. You are in such a luxurious position that if you were fully dependent on this job and you're like, I need a client, where's this client gonna come from? All of a sudden, desperate times cause us to make desperate decisions. But if you have a side hustle and you have income coming from somewhere else, why not use this time as strategically as possible to say, this is who I am and this is who I serve? Let's dive into some of the live questions that are coming in right now. Okay. So Jen Lynn says, hi, Luna. That's right. Girl, you're a boss. See, Luna? People are talking back. See, Luna's getting more questions than I am. Phil Davies, sounds like Junior is joining in and wants to start their own side hustle. My daughter definitely wants to start a side hustle. And her side hustle right now is screaming. My daughter would like a business all about screaming. Okay, Madison asked, how do you organize all of your photos from raw to edited, ready to post to be posted? My Google Drive is a mess. What is your system? So this system is a system that I created for photos, but I follow the same system for Google Docs, for organization of my passwords. So what I'm going to be doing, actually, I use the exact same system when I'm saving photos of my daughter on my iPhone. I create a folder that is the year. So last year I had a 2020 folder. This year I have a 2021 folder. I will then go and create 12 subfolders, each corresponding to a month. And then I'll label each of those subfolders as 2020.01. And then when I click on that folder, like in January, like if I took photos of a client in January, if I took photos of a client of Luna in January, if I had created documents that I knew belonged to a client in January, I would click on the 2021.01. I would click on there, and then in there I would have all of my client files according to 2021.01. The date that they signed the contract, the date that the photos were taken, and then I title it from there. So all I need to do now is I need to think, okay, how can I then search Dropbox, Google Drive? I have now indicated and labeled everything the same way. So when I was taking photos of clients, I would use the year, the month, the date of the shoot, and then I would follow the exact same categorization. The bride and the groom's name. So now I could search their wedding by the month, or I could search by their names. I do the same thing for all of my professional docs. So just today, I was organizing files for my podcast, The Jasmine Star Show. I did 3 interviews today, and I did interviews earlier this week. I follow the same categorization: year, month, day, episode number, and the person who I interviewed. I hope that's a little bit of clarity. So please feel free to continue offering in those amazing live questions. Let's get into a pre-asked question, and this is focusing on handling the haters. Krista asked, how do you deal with people not liking you or supporting you? And I actually just mentioned this a little bit ago. I do know that I am not for everybody. I know that this style of speaking, I know that the way that I look, the way that I talk, my background, the color of my skin, the fact that I have freckles, I mean, it could be a myriad things. Like, I am too brown for some people, and I am too light for some people. I am too fat for some people. I am too thin for some people. I'm too old. I am too young. There's always going to be a reason why somebody won't like me. And to that, I have embraced and say, I am not for everyone, nor am I beholden to anyone. I do not need people to like me. I just want people to trust me, and trust me in relation to their business, and trust me in relation to the things that they want. And the way that I build trust, even if you don't like me, I don't need you to like me. But if you believe the things that I'm saying, and if you deploy on them for your business, and they work, which they will, because I never tell people to do something that I am not doing myself. If I know that I am serving, if I know I am standing in my purpose, if I know that I am speaking my truth for whoever is out there, once I know that, I can then openly say and outright own that you or I are not going to be for everyone. The minute you say, I don't have people supporting me, great, you're always not going to have people support you. And I can tell you that through Social Curator, I am the founder and CEO of Social Curator, and I hear these business owners, and a lot of people, it's very common for people to say, my partner, my husband or my wife doesn't support me, or my parents think that that it's a joke, or my friends think it's crazy that I dropped out of med school to start like this side hustle thing that I want to get off the ground. You're not going to have everybody like you or support you. If that is what your expectation is, I'm going to say you're going to be sorely let down. So how then, if you agree and say, you know what, maybe Jasmine is right, not everyone's going to like me, not everybody's going to support me. If you know that that will then be the case, what then do? You bless and release people who do not support you. You stand in your purpose and you focus on your people. Dale Carnegie said that your business will go farther with you being interested in 2 other people than trying to get 200 people interested in your business. Dale Carnegie said this a long time ago. Dale Carnegie said this far before social media was even a thought. Social media has come around and it's amplified this fact that we need likes, we need comments, we need followers. And I have to say, no, we don't. We don't need 10,000 followers. We need a small group of people who are willing to invest in our business. And here's the crazy thing. If you are a coach, right? A fitness coach, a life coach, a mom coach, a mental health and wellness coach, whatever the case may be, you don't need 100 clients. Like, you truly do not need 100 clients to have a successful business. You could truly have amazing, powerful, revenue generating business with 10 clients, with 15 clients. When I was booking clients for wedding photography, I knew there was a ton of people who hated my work. I knew that. But I told myself, I don't need to be for every bride. I need to be for the 20 brides I want to book this year. I needed at the time, wow. I mean, do you hear her? Like, when I say that my daughter has a side hustle and screaming, I am not lying. For people who are trying to start a business, try doing it with a child who thinks she's an alley cat. All I'm here to say, and guess what? There are people watching right now, and they don't like the fact that my daughter is screaming. They just don't. And to that I say, I am who I am, and I'm showing up however I can in every possible way. So as we get into this, let's go back into something that we focus on: to know, like, and trust you. Building connection and building reputation. So if we blow it back to that, I am here trying to build connection and reputation. I try every week to the best of my ability to walk in integrity and show up to create live content and answer questions, despite and in spite of a screaming baby. Okay, so Alicia asked, any suggestions for a photographer on how to grow their business on Facebook? What could I do a 20-minute live about? So Alicia, you could do, depending on the genre of photography. So let's just say that your genre of photography is wedding photography. You could do a Facebook Live on how to select the best type of clothing for an engagement session. What are the top 5 poses during your engagement session? How to create an effective timeline for your engagement session. Each of these are all their own lives. Another live, how to create a perfect timeline for your wedding to ensure that you get epic sunset photos. Number 2, what are the top 5 tips for keeping the bridal suite clean so when the photographer comes in, you get really photos that you actually want to share. Number 6, how to have a timeline that is reflective of enough time for family photos without taking up enough of your day. Number 7, I can go on. Content. The tricky part for business owners is not to think like the content of my business is my origin story. While that might be interesting, the content that we produce in lives is never about you. It's about what your business does for your customers. And right now, I am practicing what I preach. Now, if it wasn't for Luna, if it wasn't my daughter, I probably wouldn't be mentioning too much about my personal life because number 1, it's not that interesting. And number 2, it's not really of value to you. What is valuable to you is what I am teaching that you apply to your business. That is what's valuable. So when you put yourself in the shoes of your dream customer and you think, what are they struggling with? What do they want to know more about? How do they show up to shoots differently? Create content that educates, that empowers, and or entertains them. Okay, so Cece asked, Jasmine, how did you start your business in the beginning? Like, how did you get good on social media? Number 1, thank you for saying I'm good. But number 2, I'm going to be the first to say I have a long way to go when it comes to social media. I am just barely scratching the surface. But let me just tell you that the only way I have learned how to show up on social media, being number 1, somebody who's not like trained in social media. I don't have like a formal education for social media. I also am an expert level introvert. Like I like silence. I like working alone. I like charting my own course by myself. I am energized being alone. So it's odd that social media being so social that I would be so much out creating content. And the reason why I show up on social media, the reason why somebody could say, wow, Jasmine's good at it, is because my dreams and aspirations are bigger than my fears and doubts around jumping into a social platform. The reason why business owners have a lot of resistance around social media isn't because they're like, I don't know what to say. That could be a little bit. Or I'm so busy. That could be a little bit. The biggest thing that I see that's stopping people from creating content is, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Somebody's already said this. Somebody is better at it. Somebody's been doing it longer. Somebody's more educated. Somebody's richer. Somebody's thinner. Somebody's younger. A litany of reasons why people tell themselves not to create content. And so people sit here talking themselves out of creating content and looking at other people and saying, wow, how did you get good? The only way that good people got good was by doing the dang work. The only reason people like Kobe Bryant were such epic basketball players, not because they were born that way, because they showed up on the court and they shot every single day. The reason why we look at these amazing performers and athletes is because the reason that they got good was because they showed up every single day. If somebody looks at Taylor Swift and be like, Taylor, how did you become such a great musician? She showed up at bars and she showed up at country music festivals and she showed up at malls. Like Justin Bieber showed up every single day making a YouTube video. These people aren't good and they're not special and they're not unique. They're just relentless. So my question when it comes to creating content on social media is not if you're good, if you're qualified, are you relentless? Because the quickest way to get feedback on your content is to post content in a consistent manner and see what people talk back to. That's just it. How did you learn how to do what you do? You just did it, and then you fixed it. And then, like, you did it, and then you realize, wow, I really suck at this. And then you ask yourself, do I have the courage and do I have the wherewithal to keep on trying until I get better? So Cece and anybody else who has the courage and the chutzpah to put it out in the worst, suckiest state, knowing that people are going to judge you because they will, because it's the internet. The internet is made of a bunch of judges, right? They're going to judge you. So you're going to put out a piece of content that truly sucks and nobody's going to engage with it, or a few people engage. And then you're going to be worried that it's the worst piece of content. And then you're going to think, what does this look like on my business? Does this look unprofessional? Does this look bad? What are people going to think, say, and do? And to that I say, that is the point where everyone quits. And the people who have been met with success, and by success, I do not mean popularity. I do not mean, oh, they had 3 videos go viral. Hear it from my lips, I do not want to go viral. That is zero aspirations, because virality brings in a big funnel of people who do not know me, like me, and trust me. How do people know, like, and trust me? Y'all, I'm saying this again and again, is you build connection and you build reputation. I do not want to go viral because I want to identify and clearly communicate why the heck you should follow me. What do I want to be known for? Branding, social media, marketing, and the belief that your ability to succeed. Who is my ideal client? A young business owner who is making less than $20 million a year. What benefits do I provide? Number 1, consistency. I show people what needs to be done to grow a business. Number 2, I give a clear path and strategy on how to get it done on the inside of Social Curator. And number 3, I provide accountability. I'm tired of people making excuses for their shortcomings. We're all adults. We all have these big dreams and aspirations. How bad do you want it? Show up all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. Some people are like, okay, I can get behind that. And some people are like, I just can't. That's not for me. And that is fine. That is beautiful. Last year before the pandemic, I signed up for a personal trainer. I was like, my husband and I, we signed up to get personal training. And when we started, we were like high-fiving each other. Oh, this is awesome. And then the longer we trained with the trainer, he started saying, Jasmine, good abs start in the kitchen, not on the gym floor. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, you shouldn't be drinking wine. And I was like, you shouldn't be eating ice cream. You should really stay away from any type of grain. You should stay away from dairy. And the more that he guided me, the more I realized I was not dedicated to my 6-pack. I'm not even dedicated to a 1-pack. Who am I kidding? So I sit here, and instead of me complaining why I don't have a Beachbody 2021, I just say, I made my decision. I am choosing wine and my no-pack. But I cannot complain about not having a 6-pack. Facts. So if you're a business owner and you want the proverbial 6-pack of Instagram growth and beating the algorithm on Facebook and epic YouTube videos, but you are not willing to make the sacrifices that you need to get what you want, you forfeit the right to complain. That's it. Luna got real quiet. Mama's preaching, girl. Mama's preaching. Ladies and gentlemen, I show up every single week without a pitch, without an offer. Not that anything's wrong with that. For the people who show up live and they're pitching all the time, God bless you. Good on you. That's not my calling. My calling is to speak my truth. And for people who do not support or co-sign or even like what I have to say, I bless and release them so I can stand in my purpose and I can focus on my people. But what I am telling you in this moment is to bless and release people who have negativity and do not like the thing that you do or do not believe in it, so you can stand in your purpose and focus on your people. And right now in your business, you're like, Jasmine, I have no people. If you have one person, if you have one follower on any social platform, you have people. Focus on them. In this moment, I want to express gratitude and say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for asking questions. And thank you for being you. You've come too far to stop now. So keep pushing. I said, keep pushing forward. I sound like my dad. Keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward. All right, friends. Have